Hello, welcome to the Learning and Evaluation Team's December Brown Bag. Today we're going to be talking about learning days and what we've seen in terms of results with the evaluation capacity development that we've been working toward in the movement. So today I will be presenting along with my colleague Maria Cruz, and I myself am Jamie Anstey, and we will go ahead and turn it over to Maria to share what the basic objectives are for today.
So today's session objectives are to share the background of learning days and the evaluation initiative, highlight the results seen in capacity development and impact reporting, discuss current status and next steps, and have a group discussion. But first, let's have a little context. Individual contributors, volunteers, groups, organizations, partners, among others, carry out activities in the Wikimedia movement throughout the world. The evaluation initiative began in order to develop community capacity for program evaluation and design. Specifically, we wanted to support these program leaders in their efforts to design and deliver impactful programs.
Importantly, the evaluation initiative had specific aims in order to do this in a way that would be consistent with our values. So the first of these aims was, of course, focused on capacity building. It wasn't for us to come in and evaluate the systems directly, but to provide program leaders with the skills and the tools to evaluate and design their programs, specifically to self-evaluate their programs. So doing this successfully would enable community to be more effective directly and make those choices themselves. And of course, while program leaders would be responsible for evaluating their own programs, the L&E team was here to support that as self-evaluation and advocacy for the tools they needed to do so. A third important element, of course, was that collaboration. Not only would we do capacity building and expect self-evaluation, the program evaluation and design efforts were a new concept to many people, including Foundation staff members. And we were all in this together. So by learning and working together as an evaluation community, we have been working to build that shared understanding, shared definitions, and practices about evaluation and design in order to maximize that learning and hopefully our impact. The fourth, of course, was to focus on quality programs. So not only is it important that we're able to see what was achieved through a program, but our ability to see through that reporting and knowledge about the design and effectiveness and make choices about where resources from volunteer time to actual funding resources actually are directed. So in June 2013, we started by developing a workshop in Budapest for 23 program leaders. It was decided there that, of course, those capacity development efforts would continue, and in different ways how we would continue that path together. But we started there by mapping out what different programs these folks were leading, from the edit-a-thons and WikiLoves monuments, photo contests, to writing contests and full education programs or GLAM partnerships. These program leaders had lots of different goals and lots of aims of these initiatives, and we wanted to understand together which of those were actually aligned and seeing success through different program models and which weren't. We decided that we would do this together by connecting at community events, and that we would advance those conversations and learning in a way that we would build a portal of resources to connect program leaders to one another, as well as to the evaluation tools and resources that they needed. At that time, that was the small group of folks and where we began. We, from there, continued programs and continued to grow from a single cohort to an open system for all program leaders who were attending these events. And we connected at them. We've had 10 Learning Days events at this point and have substantially grown the audience as well as the experience backgrounds and the program types even. So we've also been working at those resources and tools and use the space to connect people as each year there's new things to highlight for them. The space has been really important for that.
So where are we today? Since the first capacity development workshop held in Budapest in 2013, we shifted to a regular routine of hosting pre-conference events for capacity development alongside existing movement conferences, such as Wikimedia and the Wikimedia Conference. These learning days are full days of workshops and exchanges for learning about relevant skills and tools for community leaders who design and implement programs. The event participation has slowly been scaled up from about 20 community participants and a single learning track in our early years to about 50 to 60 community participants and 2 full learning tracks today, which are co-designed with participants through a needs assessment and teaching assets mapping process. Over time, community leaders have presented and led more and more presentations in the context of their work and unique expertise. At this point, community presenters and facilitators contribute to 50 to 75% or more of learning day sessions, depending on which conference the event is aligned to. The outcomes we have seen related to learning day skills development are hard to claim full credit for, as they have been just one piece of a paradigm shift toward evaluation and accountability in Wikimedia programs and initiatives. Through 10 iterations of learning days, we have trained more than 250 community program leaders since the beginning. Learning day events have also worked as a connecting space. We have identified the needed supports for designing and evaluating Wikimedia programs. Developing the skills, tools, and peer connections for learning have been a shared work with our community program leaders and the foundation staff. We have worked step by step to build systems for evaluation and learning exchange to support our growing community of practice. Over time, our team's focus has expanded from simply developing an evaluation portal to designing a single point of entry for all Wikimedia-related resources, the Wikimedia Resource Center. This groups a series of resources. The evaluation portal is one of them, which has evaluation tools and guides. The Learning Pattern Library is a place where program leaders can share lessons learned through Wikimedia programs. Evaluation and metrics consultations with grantees. The Learning Quarterly newsletter is a channel where the different Wikimedians share lessons learned through their activities and programs. Wikimetrics, Global Metrics Magic Button, and the Program and Events Dashboard are tools for program leaders to capture the impact of their programs. Program toolkits are guides on the implementation of Wikimedia programs. The survey support desk is a place where people can create surveys and have a better assessment of their work. And Learning Day workshop kits are guides on how to run workshops that we offer during Learning Days. There are still a few areas of improvement. We would like to better assist community leaders to connect to other community members and their resources. And we also would like to create a more transparent and shared space for developing leadership and peer mentoring within the movement.
So importantly, each year we have been tapping our program leaders that we have engaged, or at this point, even those we haven't engaged through Learning Days format, in order to collect an annual pulse of the evaluation capacity of program leaders within our movement. So although the reach and audience has changed over the past 2 iterations, moving to reach more broadly from 2015 and 2016, from our Learning Days participants to include all grantees and program leaders that we had identified in 2016, 2017, expanding that even further to all affiliate leaders or affiliates being represented by at least one representative leader. This is essentially giving us more of a pulse, but we've also been able to, of course, capture who of those came from those audiences to be able to speak to the year-over-year change. Importantly, the progress we have seen has been consistent, and it speaks of pretty highly trained Wikimedians, or at least confident Wikimedians at this point in time, for those who have been engaged in the Learning Days events and resourcing. Program leaders who report now not only plan for and document their activities more consistently, but they report having more confidence in doing that for the most part. And you can see that from some of the data. Here, looking at the blue dots there and the black dots being the 2013-2014 initial pulse following that first workshop, and the 2016-2017 folks who were surveyed but haven't had exposure to learning days. You see there that the blue and black dots, those that had least exposure to the training through learning days, are persistently less than half of those people feeling mostly or completely confident in identifying goals or identifying measurable targets or identifying their timeline for meeting those targets. Whereas those who have been benefiting from learning days, you can see each year in our sample, those numbers rise of the percentage who feel mostly or completely confident to, at this point, more than 75% feel confident in those ways, whereas we had started at less than half. This is something similar we see when it comes to other measures in terms of articulating program strategy, documenting program activities, tracking and measuring direct accomplishments, and measuring program impact. There continues to be a little less confidence in overall impact. That isn't uncommon given the jargony nature of the term impact itself, but also the long-term nature of impact itself and needing time to achieve. That leaves some room for confidence to grow. So as we've seen that increased capacity in terms of their self-report and abilities, we've also been watching what grantee results and have been being reported from between 2014 and 15 and reporting in 2015-16 through to today, as we introduced global metrics and had some standardized metrics to compare. We've watched the reporting increased greatly, with more than 5 times as many individuals served and images uploaded being reported by grantees from one year to the next year's comparison, and nearly 4 times as many pages created or improved from grantee programs. This also includes 2 times the unique images used from grantee programs and projects. With all of these, it's important we do take the consideration that we aren't able to tease apart how much of this is increased reporting versus how much is increased impact. But what we do know is we have greatly increased our understanding of the impact of these programs, and whether they've become more impactful or we just are getting a better sense of how big the iceberg is. This is correspondent to those changes in the self-report that we've captured year over year.
So where are we today? We have encouraged a leadership dialogue, which has led to some evolutions in the Learning Days model. There's more transparency and openness in the opportunity to participate in Learning Days, expanded leadership topics relevant to programs and affiliate organizers, and the additional type of learning space for facilitation skills sharing. Now, 3 styles of rooms to accommodate a full range of session formats. In discrete ways, we are working to develop a peer academy, both an online gathering space to meet and a practice of exchanging know-how of effective program and event design and community organization. Through the Wikimedia Resource Center, community leaders will be able to find other peers that can support them in developing a new initiative, the resources other Wikimedians share, and also share resources that they themselves have created for others to use. This peer academy space can hopefully help to support individuals connecting to others on their development paths. Learning Days have become a co-designed collaborative event space, supporting 2 different tracks. This is a traditional track, and these are some of the skills that we share in this track. Today, many different teams work to support teaching teams of Learning Days. Staff lend facilitation and/or content expertise, as do community members who are leading the initiatives on the ground. This has included support from learning and evaluation, programs, community resources, support and safety, technical collaborations, communications, finance, legal, and fundraising.
In addition to the traditional offerings of the Learning Days, we've also recently expanded those skills offered to include leadership skills. This is, of course, in direct output of the leadership dialogue, and understanding that our program leaders are often also affiliate leaders, and the affiliate collaborations and organizational development needs and skills were equally as important in their ability to deliver impactful and effective programs. So given that specific leadership skill sets associated with affiliate organization and program leadership have been added, and we will be working to map a follow-up assessment process into the Learning Days evaluation plan this next year in order to capture beyond the evaluation capacity development framework, framework that's more aligned to this expanded set of competencies now being targeted by the Learning Days, specifically including those areas such as consensus building and facilitation or conflict engagement.
So what are next steps? We are working to develop a peer academy, which is both an online space to meet and a practice. Through the Wikimedia Resource Center, community leaders will be able to find other peers that can support them in developing a new initiative, the resources other Wikimedians share, and also share resources that they have created themselves for others to use. This peer academy space can hopefully help to support individuals connecting to others on their development paths.
Okay. For those of us attending live, we'll of course break now for a discussion time. We hope those who are attending after the event and remotely are able to also connect either in the comment section of the video here, or even on our portal pages, or if you want to send us a private message, you can always reach Maria and I at our staff accounts, or eval@wikimedia.org if you want to keep it simple. We appreciate your spending this time with us, and we hope to continue to endeavor in these ways together. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.